where a guest and I take a deep dive into a newly released machine video by reacting to it and then overanalyzing it literally frame by frame. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Couch Potato Machine by Sprice Machines, and here joining me to talk about it is Sprice Machines. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
So I, like always, have not seen the video that I'm reacting to. That's kind of the whole premise of this show. So the first thing we're going to do is react to it. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, okay. All right. Is that like business unusual, sort of?
Yep.
All right. All right. What? Okay. So fast. All right. Pretty classic. I like it. All right. What's going on? Oh, so there's like Builder's Challenge aspects to it. Okay. Okay.
There's multiple.
You know how you relax by slowly lifting your foot up?
Yeah. There were other takes that were better.
That is clever. That is very clever.
With the nice Adidas shoe. There were other takes where he laid down better, but the one that worked just happened to be the one where he just like slowly lifted his foot.
Is that a... Oh, okay. I guess I'll figure out what that is. So many just strange objects. Oh, I like this a lot. Oh my god. Very Lemonade Machine-esque, of course.
Yeah, same style.
Yeah.
More color.
Ooh. Ooh.
More woodworking.
Yeah. Oh, there's the Chinese yo-yo. Okay. Nice. Return of the green car. I like it. Okay. Oh.
And what is it going to tell him to do now?
Oh no. Oh, because this is the tie-in for the... Is this the brand tie-in for the TV and stuff? Yeah, okay.
Yep. He's got to pick a romance movie. Because you know Chris loves romance movies.
Yeah. So many fails happened right there.
Mm-hmm. We could not believe how bad and unreliable Trick's tracks were. They were like the most unreliable thing in this whole.
Yeah.
The only thing you can
what?
trust.
Wait, what? Okay, wait.
No, you can't even trust
that mug thing just freaked me out. Oh, I've never seen this trick been done like that before.
That was Tim's idea.
That's
I did a lot of planning, but there was still some room for improv, and Tim came up with that, and yeah, I love that too. With the fruits. And now he's getting comfortable, the lights are off, he's grabbed his blanket.
Back to the same table. Oh, whoa, okay, I like that a lot. Wow.
It happened really quick, but I'm sure you'll appreciate it.
Okay.
Cookie cutter one.
That's brilliant. Yeah, a box trick again, I see. Oh, okay.
Ready for the reflection cameo.
Whoa! What?
It's supposed to fail. Because there's a simpler solution.
Oh. Okay, this is a legit ad. Okay.
And now Chris is saying random stuff into the remote because we weren't using the audio.
He's just not even saying actually those real things.
Yeah. He's saying, Tim, please turn off the lights. And Tim's hiding behind the couch, hitting the switch to turn off the light.
Wow. Okay, that was okay. Okay. Wow. All right. So that's the same house, isn't it?
No, different house.
It's not. It looks very similar.
Yeah, I like the modern style with lots of light incoming. So I guess I tended to pick the same style Airbnbs, but yeah, different house, but also in San Diego. Yeah,
I mean, same area of. I mean, the state is going to give you a lot of the same architecture and stuff. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But also still an Airbnb. Okay. Yeah. So this was
initial thoughts.
This is everything I wanted it to be, and
perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, Lemonade Machine Part 2. except just a bit smaller. It felt just as grand in scale though. Like even though, Lemonade Machine was literally so much longer. Hey, look, I got lemonade right here. Not a sponsor, or that was just a coincidence. Anyway, that felt like the same length, because cut out a lot of the timing delays from Lemonade Machine, like the slime and the spinny thing in the bathroom, and those things take up a significant amount of time. This felt like just as big, even if it wasn't.
Yeah, that was part of the plan for the project. Is they specifically didn't want any delayed reactions, because if you had to have a part that was way sped up in the middle of the ad, it would kind of just doesn't really fit with the rest of the video. So it had to be all fairly fast paced, and obviously this project was inspired by the Lemonade Machine. Like I'm sure the company saw, or they did in fact see the Lemonade Machine when they were thinking of contacting me to do this project. So and that was the whole purpose of the Lemonade Machine. So really awesome that it paid off really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, side note, that video has done fantastic. Like, beyond, I don't know if it was beyond your expectations, but beyond mine, certainly.
Of course, it was definitely beyond mine.
Yeah. And this has got to be like one of the first ones, almost, I think, probably ever, where you've been hired to make a machine this big, like for a company.
Yeah, definitely.
Or even like a one-take sort of thing, because like even the other ones were all just kind of like, we want just the idea of a machine, but we don't want you to actually make one,
Right, yeah.
We don't care
and
if you make one.
I don't think they had a preference if it was one take or in sections, but I recommended it because of the authenticity, and I'm glad they went with it.
Yeah, that's interesting, because so did you actually actively campaign to have it be a one-take thing, or was it just kind of like, yeah, sure, I'll do that?
I just mentioned it, and I said why, because it makes the machine more authentic, and that's sort of what my channel has become, and that, like, for the ad, obviously it doesn't matter, but if you guys are okay with it, like, my viewers would definitely enjoy it, and it didn't take a lot to convince them. They were on board.
Yeah, because I mean, that's if they were inspired by a Lemonade Machine, that's like part of the charm of it. That's part of the reason it's so cool. But interestingly, the reason I'm asking is because when I was talking to Brett, he said the complete opposite. Like, he said he just does not care if it's one take or not, which makes sense because he's doing it for a lot bigger companies, and like the scale is so much bigger, so it's harder to get it all in one take anyway. But it's just an interesting kind of philosophical difference in thinking about machines, which I always find fascinating. That's kind of the reason that this show exists as well, is not only for behind the scenes deep dives, but also for like getting insight into the way people think about their machines and their work, and that's really fascinating. So let's actually deep dive into how this thing works. I'm very excited to go through this again. So we're going to go through frame by frame. So start with, you can still see my screen, right?
Yep.
Great.
Took out the trash.
Yep.
First, take out the trash.
And then
place the marker in a very, very specific spot at the top of the clipboard.
Oh, because it like curves? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So that just kind of undercuts the ball and then provides a little bit of lift, and then it rolls down. Got it. And then it has no choice but to...
more pencil tracks.
Yeah,
a
okay.
little lever.
Yep. I think I have those exact pencils. Okay, so here's Stapler Trick. This is like from Making It Rain Machine by Alex. Similar. I like the compound, like, double office supplies interaction there. That's cool. And then Pixar ball rulers. I like it.
What do you mean Pixar ball?
Aren't those the rulers we used for the zigzag board?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yep.
How come I know more about this machine than you do already?
Well, they've been used in several projects now.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, so there's another one there. So
And
these are a lot of machine materials I haven't ever seen before. Did they give you a budget to like buy stuff?
Well, it wasn't part of the budget, but essentially I just took it on myself to get whatever I wanted because I know I'm going to continue to use them in more and more projects.
Yeah.
And this briefcase actually came from a Netflix TV show that I did a small domino project for, and there were briefcases involved, and I got to keep one, so now it's in the machine.
Interesting. Obviously, you're not allowed to say what it is, but I still hope it's Black Mirror. I really hope it is. Anyway,
No, it's
moving
not.
on. So
It's actually
it's not. Oh, you
no, I can't say, but it's a
okay?
season one of a kids show, so it's not
Ah.
like you've heard of it before.
Okay, fine. All right. I just figured the timing would have worked out great. Anyway, so it knocks out a support for the briefcase, and then there's like a spring-loaded thing. Is that like a keychain of some kind?
Yeah, it's one of the coily things on a keychain.
Yeah. All right, so that's
And
got to pull a string of some kind, right?
It's a lever.
Oh, it's just a weighted lever. Okay, so the lever falls back after there's nothing holding
Yeah.
it there. Okay, well, releases I guess just a regular ball.
Mm.
Oh, those are notepads. Okay, I didn't catch that the first time. I thought they were.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were. I didn't realize they were notepads. Okay, so basically the dish trick.
Yeah.
I like how. Okay, here's the other thing. I like how everything is a foreign object too. Like these are like, they're not just Hot Wheels tracks. They're like books.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they are literally. They're not like books.
I only use Hot Wheels tracks for cars nowadays.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I like the symmetry
Yeah.
there too. So blue ball on red book, red ball on blue book.
You'll appreciate this part where the book cover opens.
Oh, I kind of missed that. I missed that. So the first weight knocks off, and then releases the book cover. Knocks the cover knocks the lock off. The lock is attached to the pulley system. Okay.
And using a lock as a weight was inspired by my collaboration with Joseph's Machines, which
Yeah, I noticed he does
I
that
think
all the time.
he does it a lot, and I thought it was a cool idea, and so I got some locks to use. And
Yeah.
I think he's going to post our collaboration sometime early 2019.
Ooh, making connections episode 3? Question mark? Question mark? No, probably not. Maybe episode 4. Or 3, depending on when Joel finishes his collab. Or his, not collab, his video. So that lifts the track up. Okay, there's just a clamp there. Got it. Alright, so then more book dominoes here. This part is pretty easy. No frame by frame necessary.
Book tracks.
Book tracks. Did I say dominoes? Yeah. Okay, so knocks off a book, notebook. Okay, what's that attached to?
String.
Oh, that's
There's
there's a pulley on the first book. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then that triggers Chris's eye holes to react to the word being revealed on the whiteboard, which reacts his muscles, which reacts his butt muscles, which reacts a foot muscle. That's at least 5 steps, Guinness. You gotta get on it. Yeah, so he just kicks the ball. Okay. What are
And,
those like just long wood strips or something?
Yeah, they're just 1x2 8-foot long pieces of wood that we spray painted, and I made these black supports for all of these ramps that you'll see on each side, and there's a hole for nuts and bolts to go through the pieces of wood, so I can detach them from the black supports, and I can reuse them in the future. And so I have a lot of different heights of supports now, because like in the later section you'll see they're also used in like the basketball and other things. So I can mix and match the heights of supports and reconnect different lengths and
Yeah.
colors of
And I noticed
rods.
there were some outside too. That's the basketball, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and also these rods, they're on the inside of, there are brackets on those black supports. The orange rods are on the insides of the brackets at the start and the outsides at the end, so it widens out a little bit to slow the ball down, and that allows it to fall into this
So are these
hole right here.
Is it moving just because of the widening, or is there also slope?
There's also slope.
Okay.
It wasn't planned out that it would fall into a bowl, but then we just found some stuff that found that it would look cool, so we did that, but then found out that we had to slow it down, so we moved them to the outside of the brackets.
Yeah, I like how it's just a binder clip that holds it in there.
Yeah.
That's really cool, and that's gotta be a really precise setup, where it's just the ball going in that pulls the green ribbon.
Actually, it's not that precise.
Oh really?
Yeah, as long as this the ribbon is relatively taut, when the ball sits in there, it'll tip that domino.
Okay. Yep, I like this. I like this idea too, because this is one thing I've also noticed about your style is it's getting a lot more clever. Because I think that's one thing that has actually changed. I'd say I've come to appreciate your style a lot more recently, and I think part of it, most of it, is because I've just changed and I've learned to appreciate it more. But I also think you've changed a little bit too, and I think one of the ways you've changed is becoming a lot more clever. And this is a trick I don't think you would have done, even just like a year ago, where it's like the ball goes into a thing and then gets kicked out. Like that's just neat because it's something you don't expect. Right, you've seen the ball kicking trick before, and
even if someone did that, you would expect that the ball hits something and it comes around to trigger the foot. But
and the
it's
creative,
just like kind of a new concept that the action of it landing in the bowl is what triggers something to hit it out.
Exactly. I really like the short but simple and easily understood connection there. Is that just Is that your shoe?
Yeah, that's my shoe.
It looks familiar. Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't have to walk outside for this project, so I could donate my shoe to it.
Is it supposed to bounce over that first one, or is that just like a funny thing?
A couple of fails, it goes through the legs of the first chair.
It's nothing.
It goes straight out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the first one did fall on this take.
What are those holding it up? Are those just spray painted Trix tracks?
Yep.
Oh my god.
There was a big tarp outside, and a lot of spray painting went down throughout this week.
Yeah. All right. I also like just the completely unnecessary bear that just really adds some nice charm and fun to it.
Yep, I made a special trip to the store just to get a teddy bear, just because I
Did you actually?
thought it looked. Yeah, I thought the skateboard looked empty and it would be cool to have something on it, so that's what we ended up with.
Yeah. Okay, so I haven't really been narrating the steps, but obviously just chair dominoes after the ball kicks them over. That pushes the skateboard turns on the power strip turns on the lamp. Or not lamp, that's not a lamp. It's a weird looking lamp.
Oh,
that's a fan.
And also notice that in the past, what I would have done is have the skateboard like hit a ball and then have the ball hit the power strip. But Chris built
hit a ball how?
Like in an intermediate in between the skateboard and the power strip. I would have the power strip on the table and have a ramp lead up to it and just have the heavy marble hit the strip. But Chris built this section, and I told him, like, if it's possible and to get it reliable, then just have the skateboard hit the switch itself. And he managed to do that pretty easily, and it was really accurate too.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the skateboard's going in the right direction, that part seems really reliable. And those wheels are fat enough that I don't think it would really veer off that often, right?
No, it's really straight, so you'll definitely see that in more projects. The penny board as opposed to the skateboard.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it's got to be fishing line then, right? It's just holding it.
Yeah, it's a parachute guy. We were gonna have it try to blow it up and over to the bench on the other side, but there's no way we would have got it accurate enough.
Which bench? Oh, this one?
Yeah.
You can't see my cursor. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that you can actually see my cursor when I do screen sharing and Hangouts, so I have a control thing where it just like puts this little circle thing. So, so that just blows it along. Okay. And that hits any number of like 4 different capital blocks, it looks like. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so that must fall onto a lever of some kind, and that lifts the edge of the cone?
A little bit of a long story about that one. So this
seems like a strange connection.
This is like, Chris built this, and I looked at it, and I was like, that's really sketchy. Are we sure that's gonna work? Turns out, he's like, okay, it works in one of 3 ways, but it works every time.
Oh.
Either the fan blows over the brain blocks, and that triggers a golf ball on a ramp, which you can't really see, to go down it. It's behind the orange cones and behind that wooden block. But the golf ball goes down to hit the cone, which is just right on the edge of the tipping point.
So there's the golf ball.
Or on some occasions, just the vibration from the block landing on the bench was enough to tip the cone over. So he had like three different scenarios where it could work, and it never failed in all the takes we did.
Really? I guess I should
Yeah.
clarify. How many takes did this take?
Over 100.
That's not. Well, I guess for this size, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, and especially because we technically had one filming day, but we had to go over into the next day as like our backup day. So we had like a day and a half of filming. So 100 takes in a day and a half is quite a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. But were all three of you still there for all the days?
Yes.
So you had at least some help resetting.
Mm.
All right, so the classic, I guess I don't even know what to call that. It's almost bead chain-esque kind of trick.
Yeah. That's what I would call.
Yeah. Oh, so these are just a pre-toppled small to large.
And yeah, this whole section happened so quickly. I'm amazed that I got it all on camera, but it's
Oh,
good
yeah.
that we can break it down frame by frame.
So it just literally just punches the block down, and then somehow that topples it.
That pulls a string, which
Is
pulls
there a
the
reason?
trigger.
Is there a reason these aren't taped? Because that I felt like would have helped.
I think if they're taped, it still might be hard to get them to balance because even the slightest shifts would cause them to tip early. So you kind of have to refine the balance point with every setup, I think.
Yeah. So how is
But
this
we
actually? So what's the
we each
release
had-
on the? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
We each had different sections which we were responsible for setting up with. So that was like I didn't build this part and I wasn't responsible for it. I have no idea like exactly the right placement of it, but they figured that part out somehow.
Yeah. And what's the
and
mechanism
Yeah.
that releases the connect scissors thing?
So the cones pull the black string, which you
Right.
can see there, and there was just like a connects rod that was stuck into like the scissors, and it just like held them back, and then once it's pulled out, then the whole thing
Yeah.
has no
gravity
choice.
takes over. Yeah.
has
Gravity
no
takes
choice
over
but
at that
to fall.
point. Yeah. This is another one of those weird tricks that. Well, it's sort of BMAC like, but it's like nothing you'd ever make, like, except for lemonade machine size machines.
Right.
And then green ball adventure shotgun thing.
Mm.
Is that one of the targets from the? No, because you didn't end up taking any of the targets from the launcher set, did you?
I did, but it wore out because I brought it to several projects, and through shipping it got really bad. But so
Oh, so your launcher doesn't even work anymore?
no, just the target. The target got messed up.
Oh, like
So
the cardboard thing. Okay.
Yeah, so I printed out on cardstock a target, and then I cut out a circle on foam board and just slapped it on there, and that's my new
Yeah.
target.
Yeah, very high tech here at Sprice Machines LLC. So, okay, so that just knocks over. I guess it just vibrates enough to knock over the stack of
Yeah.
blocks there. Mouse trap, and that pulls on. Let's see here. What in the world is that?
It's a
Oh,
block
it's holding the
that's-
doors. Is there like?
Yeah, so you can't see it, but there's an 8-foot long 1x2 that's painted black that sticks all the way up from the floor to the ceiling.
Oh,
Because
is that
the
this
door
one?
there, yeah, so the door there opens in a really weird way. It opens like a triangle. I think Tim explained it as like an accordion, and there's like 3 sets of glass doors, and they're all connected in one. Like each section could be taken out as a triangle, and they're like an accordion. You could slide them all open. You could open like the entire like 30-foot wall if you wanted to.
That's really cool though. That's like a neat thing you didn't even have to like make. It's already a neat mechanism just
Right,
built into the
but
house.
it also made it extremely difficult to have something hold the door back.
Oh.
So that piece of wood that was wedged in there,
So
there was
that's
like
just kind
so
of-
much force.
It's just
Where-
pressing it against itself so it can't fold.
Basically. And
Yeah.
on the outside of the door, there's bungee cords that want to pull it open. So on that block that's being held there, there's so much force on it. It was really hard to get it to pull out, even with like the mousetrap pulling directly at the string, and it was like millimeters from the edge of being ready to fall out.
Wow.
And
So
so
I
that
imagine
caused a
that
lot of
part
problems.
probably wasn't super reliable either then.
Right.
Wow. This is why we do these episodes,
Oh,
because
and
like you would never know, first of all, even how that worked, but also that it was so like unreliable like that, because it just looks
also,
so effortless.
also, I take that back. It was actually super reliable when we were first starting. The third take actually made it to the second half of the machine, and so it made it all the way past this outdoor section. And a couple more times within the first 10, we made it past this outdoor section. But then later on, for some reason, it just, I don't know if it wore out or something, but it started to fail a lot after that.
Is there a BTS for this video?
Yeah, there will be.
Sweet. Alright, so we've got the door folding out, or in, out probably. Oh, no. Okay, that's how the scooter works? No way. It literally just nudges the handle upright?
Yeah.
That's,
So
that is,
so
okay. I like that. That's cool.
so the scooter's sitting on the ramp so that the wheels are like right in the edge of the bottom of the ramp and the border of the ramp. And also there's a kickstand on one side of the scooter which adds like, it's metal, so there's just enough friction on the wood that you can like very difficultly get it to balance there. But then as soon as something taps it, it gets going, and then there's no, once it overcomes that static friction, it's off.
It has no choice but to keep going.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
And
that's really
and
clever. I like that a lot. That's another simple,
there,
really elegant connection.
and also because it's so tall and wobbly, in addition to the guides on the ramp at the wheels, I also had to have a fishing line guide the top of it. So there's a little suction cup that you can see on the glass right in front that holds one end of the fishing line.
Oh, that is okay. I like that a lot. So it's tied around this black pole in the back too.
Yeah.
That's really clever. I like it. This is great. So that has, let's see, what is that hitting?
Of course, it still found a few ways to fall over.
Yeah, of course. No machine is ever going to be perfect. Alright, so I guess that just kind of obliterates a bunch of blocks at the end, and just kind of like,
Yeah.
it has this, a true...
It's just a block
That
with a string.
Yeah, that is a true
And
machine builder's fantasy right there. It just kind of blows the whole tower over, really. So more of these stands with the rails. Yeah. This part sketched me out so much at the beginning. Just like bounces around 4 or 5 times and just like rocks back and forth. Like
it was just. Well, yeah, it kind of shakes the blue rails, but I think because it's not like taped down or secured to the ground, the rails kind of move with the ball until it settles.
I found that in my experience working with even smaller materials that it's sometimes counterintuitive to tape things, because sometimes it is more beneficial to have the ability for it to like kind of move with it to catch it. It seems more like, well, why wouldn't you have it more secure so that it catches it more reliably? But sometimes you want it to be able to move around a little. But that's how the pros do it, baby. All right. So this is...
I don't think it ever missed that jump.
Wow. Okay. Oh, so okay.
Hits poking device. Originally, we were gonna have this door open up from the other side, but when we got there, we realized the doors only open from that other side, and the rest of them are all just connected to the first door. So we could slant it out like an accordion and just make a little gap underneath the door, and so we had to have it hit a target which poked to get back inside.
So it just knocks the domino over to the inside. And then I guess that's a weighted connects lever, so it releases downwards, releases the Chinese yo-yo. That's another new board here, looks like.
That's just a long wooden board, and then there's just two green 1x1s as rails.
But you made it though. It's not
Well,
not a found material of any kind.
We painted it
Okay.
and
Yeah.
put it on blocks.
That's how the pros do it.
Find it at the hardware store.
Okay, now what is going on? Okay, so
That's just an extended trigger for the launcher.
that's I see the perspective was throwing me off because I had thought that the trigger was towards the plant instead of towards the yo-yo. So that was kind of a weird angle. But yeah, okay, so it just kind of pushes it down as normal, as you would trigger. Yep. The Joel trick.
Just one bounce. I wanted to do more, but it wasn't accurate.
People freak out about bounces, by the way. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I don't understand. They're like, you can show them an entire machine, and then as soon as the ping pong ball bounces once into a track, they lose their mind. I don't understand. It's so weird to me. Like, have you never seen, like, a ball before? I don't know. So, how'd you get the ball out of the funnel? Does it go through?
Well, the funnel, you can take the funnel out of
Okay.
and also, yeah, it doesn't go through the funnel, it just stays in there.
I didn't think about the fact that you could just take the funnel out. Yeah. All right. So I still haven't been narrating the steps, but I guess that's part of the. I guess it's pretty obvious how this part works. The lever lifts up, car goes down. Oh, so it wedges underneath, and tips it over, knocks the ball into the yogurt cup. That's a neat transition. I have never seen anything like that with the wedge.
Yeah, and I don't even own any of those triangle blocks, but it just so happened that we picked an Airbnb that has tons of like random baskets lying around, and one of the baskets had like a bunch of Legos, and one of them had a bunch of unit blocks, and those included those wedges.
Did you use the Legos at all?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Legos are surprisingly not useful.
Oh, and one basket of like the classic marble tracks that you piece together.
The ones that I have? Oh, or the ones that like I don't know. Are they
like the ones I use in my very first machines? No, we didn't use it.
Oh, the ones that you like stack up and
Yeah.
make really tall structures out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, amateur builders timing delays.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's just an L-shaped thing.
Yeah,
that
I use these levers all the time, but obviously on a much smaller scale. I love this idea of having a wedge lifted up because I've never thought about even doing that at all. That's really clever. So is it rolling on the outside of the disc or is there a track back there?
It's a bike wheel, so the thickness of the bike wheel kind of has two rails. I did the same thing in my money tree machine where it was rolling on top of the bike wheel and landed in a cup and then dumped out at the bottom.
It's the same bike wheel, right?
Yep.
So I got thrown off because I thought this was gonna do something, but this is really neat. This is okay. I remember when I did the Super Bowl 50 machine and I was trying to figure out how to spin a wheel. That's what I should have done.
And also, fun fact, we had to design it in a way that it would land on romance every single time because at the end when they show the clips of Chris watching TV, we just filmed a blank TV, but they edited in the stuff that happens on the TV, and they had access to not copyright free, but like they owned clips of like footage from like some sort of romance shoot, so that's what they were going to use. So we had to design it so that it would make like the same turn every time. And we tried another mechanism first of having the hammer hit something on the wheel to get it to turn, and not only did that not make as much of a spin, but it also was more random, and it turns out with this ball falling in the cup and then getting dropped out at the bottom, that turns it the same distance every time. So the ball had to be placed right on the left corner of the drama tile at the very top, and as long as I placed it in the same spot every time, then it would make that same term and land in romance.
So there's nothing even actually stopping it or anything. It's just kind of relying on its
It's just
natural
yeah.
consistency.
Yep.
Wow. Huh. I mean, there's got to be some natural
We
stopping points on the axle anyway, but that's really consistent.
yeah,
Wow.
and we also tried like adding magnets to it to add just a little bit of weight, but then
Yeah.
you get
It
this
would
sort
get
of
caught the
effect
first
where
time.
yeah, where it well, not like to connect to another magnet, but just to add the weight to get it to settle
Oh,
at a
okay.
certain point. But then you get the part where it goes back a little bit and then slowly settles, which is
Right.
not really how a spinning wheel works. So it doesn't really
That
make
would seem
sense.
pretty forced. Be like,
Mm,
someone really wants to watch a romance movie.
yep.
So we've got some fakery going on here. I call hack.
I'm going to watch this movie that the machine picked out for me, and just happened to place the remote with the car on this rack.
I love
And
the trick.
meanwhile,
I like the Tricks Track
cameraman.
Hot Wheels combo here.
Meanwhile, I'm jumping over picture frame dominoes.
Oh. Oh, right. I never even thought about where you have to move throughout this entire thing.
Uh huh.
Wow.
Up
And I
until
like
now,
the
up until now, the camera work was easy. This is where it gets hard. At the end, it gets harder.
yeah. And that's also partly because it doesn't get to the end quite as much, so you don't have as much time to practice it.
Hmm.
I've found that with when I film mine, because I always do the first part the most, because obviously that's where it starts, and I don't get as much practice
Yeah.
towards the end, so I'm just kind of, oh no, okay, where's it now, I can't remember, and then it doesn't end
Right.
up looking
And
as
you,
smooth.
yeah, you learn the speed and the motions of the machine, and you get to practice and figure out where the best shots are.
Yeah. I like the combo of Tricks Tracks and Hot Wheels here, and more importantly, how there's some overlap with the path. I really like like every time there's overlapping paths in a machine, that's really cool to me. Even if it's something, even as, it's dominoes going under a bridge, but still, it's neat. Alright, so this is a nice little curve there. And connects lever. Hey, we're still using connects. We have not escaped the old glory days.
Oh yeah,
there-
there's plenty of it in there.
Oh yeah. What is? Okay.
It's a ball going down a track.
I was wondering what these yellow strips of, it looks like tape are on the bottom of these.
Oh, Trickstruck started adding their logos to things, and because this is
Oh,
a
yeah.
for a commercial, we had to cover logos on not only that, but like everything else that had
Yeah,
logos.
yogurt cups and yeah. Is there already a ball in there? Or is that just or is that like a foam
Yeah.
thing?
There, I don't know. We had extra. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Alright, so here's the most unreliable part of the entire thing. I love these, these cardboard funnel things. Alright, now
Now for the Sprice dominoes.
the Sprice Dominoes. This is Wine Machine and Lemonade Machine hybrid. It's a remix.
Yeah, exactly.
I do like this idea a lot, though, the crossing paths. It's like a very retro domino trick, but done with a machine and updated to be actually cool this time. Oh, man. So this is just kind of resting here by just static friction, I guess. It just
Yeah.
kind of hits the bottom at the corner, so it rubs it enough to get it to go. And this
Yeah,
is...
Chris was kind of just messing around with
It's a tape
with
measure.
coffee mugs, and he realized that you can get this really cool like twisting motion.
That is neat. Yeah. That was I didn't realize that was actually like a consistent thing. I thought it was just like how it happened to roll that at one time. But that's neat.
Mm.
You got actual dominoes here now, for like 4 inches.
That was the first. That's the first part in the machine that used actual dominoes.
Yeah. Is there a reason that's
Isn't
just
that amazing?
like why?
For a while, we were like, oh, maybe we can get away with not using a single real domino. But
Why wasn't that just a
there
line of something else?
good question. Because there was another trick there, and after a very late night of trying to get stuff to work, it just wasn't consistent, and we didn't have any time to replace it with anything else. So it's just a line of dominoes.
And what was it?
It was a mug on a Hot Wheels car, and it slides down a ramp, and then it tips over and dumps the ball out. And the main issue, I think, was it getting triggered early because it was on Hot Wheels, and we just didn't have a good way for it to rest there until it got hit.
That's a trick you've done a lot too, is putting mugs on moving things.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not a lot, but like two
So
machines.
mug tricks was sort of the theme of this section, and it was supposed to be 3, but I ended up with just 2 mug tricks.
So this one just, I don't understand this one. There's gotta be like a weird weighting thing in there, right?
This is there's a metal weight in there, and so
so it hits the top and kind of turns.
Dr. Complicated's finest. I just told him,
I love
do
that.
something cool like Noah did in Business Unusual Machine.
That's like the one thing that this reminded me of. Yeah.
Yep. And
I love
so that's what he came up with.
I love the unnecessary purple piece here at the end.
Yeah, so obviously I drew a lot of inspiration from a lot of previous projects I've done and projects other people have
of course.
done. But
I
remixed it, and I like how it turned out.
Yeah, I mean that's the best kind of machine in my opinion. I mean, taking influence from other people is like one of my favorite parts about the community, is that sort of thing is completely not just allowed but almost expected. Like, I just love that you can almost like watch a machine and say, oh, that's from Business Unusual, that's from Lemonade Machine, that's from, anything else. You get on the Money Tree machine with the bike wheel, and Okay. More dominoes. Just regular dominoes, I guess.
Yeah, so the domino line
ball lifts at first.
releases. Okay. Yeah, it's the classic Doodle Chaos style ball lift, except instead of having a weight hold one end back, and then the weight falls off and then it can lift, it's just like a lever that falls out and then it allows it to lift. I had this really cool lever flicking trick where so the green ball gets flicked up into the cup, and then when there's a metal weight on the other side of the lever, and when that falls down in between the base of this lever system, it would flick out a rod, and that rod would flick around, and then that would release the next ball to go up, and the weight would come down and flick a rod too. It's hard to explain, but you'll see it behind the scenes.
There'd be a rod down like here that would kind of rotate from here around and then hit it next.
Yeah, so it was like one goes, triggers the next one goes. Instead of domino line triggers all 4, it was more of a sequence.
And I imagine that was slow enough for this to get stopped behind each of them momentarily.
Almost.
Almost.
I think it skipped like every other one, but it was like almost there. Almost slow enough for it to fall.
Yeah.
Or for it to get stopped by each spoon.
So these are all 4 just the same copy ball lift. I love the symmetry with colors, and the way you're actually being conscious of color choices as well, with like the green, yellow, blue, red, and like I said at the beginning with like the books, the red on the blue and the blue on the red.
Yep. It's not just something you do in dominoes, it's also something you can do in machines.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that's going to become a hallmark of your style in the next few machines, and also something I'm also working on too. I don't know if you noticed in dominoes versus machines, there are a few where like one half the table is kind of color coded a certain color, and the other half is color coded a different color. Yeah.
There's it adds a lot more painting to the process, which a lot of people probably wouldn't care to do, but I'm gonna try to do it more often.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever put in that much effort, at least not for a personal project. But I mean, if I have an object like a ball or a piece of tape or like a block or a tricks track, anything, popsicle stick, domino, anything that can like I have multiple colors of the same thing. Like I'll try to color code as much as I can.
Mm.
But yeah, I really like that idea. And that's the same roller from Lemonade Machine, isn't it?
Yep.
Alright. Alright. And then I have just So here's the other thing that I've noticed is a lot of times you're doing I don't want to say cliche tricks because I guess that's kind of right because Newton's cradle is definitely a trick
like
that's been done plenty of times.
Classic.
But, yeah, but
yeah,
you're changing
I
it
refer to
up.
as classic tricks.
Yeah, but I mean, you're changing it up by doing it with a different object or doing it at a different
Mm-hmm.
scale or, something.
Exactly.
Not even necessarily like a spicing it up kind of thing, because that implies that you're adding more to it. You're adding more to the basic concept. This is still just the basic concept of a Newton's cradle, but it's different because of the object choices.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. That's the kind of trick that really works well at a scale like this, and also for, I guess, for a company machine or paid machine, but also for live events and stuff. That's the kind of thing that works really well.
Yeah, and that wasn't even part of the plan. That was just we had some space left on this table, and we hadn't used fruits yet, and that's what Tim came up with, and I thought he did an awesome job coming up with that.
Like it. I really like it. Yeah. Oh, and an orange. It's a very small orange.
That's a Tricks Tracks ball. That's why.
Yep. Okay, so here's this. So this is interesting because this is more of a timing delay than I would have expected. But, what is that? Is that your black string?
It's a fork.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks,
it's just
Steve.
just.
Not what I was asking.
Yeah, that's a Tricks Tracks ball, and that's a fork.
Ah, yes, the classics.
Yeah, just a string wound up.
Okay.
It's getting towards the end of the machine, so we're just kind of finishing up things as fast as we could, and it was just like a quick way to get from the table to the ground.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, it's an interesting technique too, because you usually see it as two strings connected at opposite ends of something, like a V shape.
Mm.
And then it kind of unwinds. Yes, more wine tasting machine, or wine machine, not wine tasting, that's a different one. So is that just a weird light switch on the bottom here?
Yes.
It doesn't, does it even turn the light on? What is it?
It turns it off.
Oh.
It's hard to tell, but
Because it's so light in the room, yeah.
Yeah.
And then more muscles triggering here in rapid succession.
Ooh, he's so cold because he no longer has that light.
Exactly. Yeah, even though there's like so much sunlight in this room. I do,
Chris shivers.
I don't like this machine, Steve. There's too many plot holes. All the same dog. Okay,
Picture frames from the dollar store.
Dogs and motorcycles, the two things that you need in life. And what is... Okay, it's like a Swiffer duster thing? Or a squeegee mop?
Yeah. We also use that in Lemonade Machine to pull open the drawer.
Oh, that's the thing that pulls open the drawer?
Yep.
I don't think we ever see the bottom of it in that video.
Right.
Were you aiming for this piece of tape? Or is that
no, that piece of tape was trying to minimize vibrations because the silverware later on, even though it's on a counter like way far away, it would still sometimes get set off early when the broom smacks the table.
Okay, so what is actually releasing it here? So there's got to... Okay, so is it just...
A fairly sketchy connects
rod. I see. So it doesn't actually do anything when it hits. It just... it slides, and that's what it is.
It slides.
Ah. Mm-hmm. Just another very subtle double motion that's really nice. I like that. So there's a lever that just kind of pulls it out from the first car, I imagine.
Yeah, and this trick I'm sure is much better in slow motion, and it didn't really get probably doesn't get the recognition it deserves at full speed because
Do they
you
turn?
obviously
They don't turn, do they?
no.
Oh, okay.
You have first you have the circle cut out where all three of the cookie cutters can fit through. Then you have the star cut out where the star, or sorry, then you have the flower cut out where the star and flower can fit through, but the circle gets stuck. And then you have the star where the flower gets stuck and only the star makes it through.
We got a real rest in peace little triangle here.
Doesn't it doesn't really add anything to the machine other than it's a fun visual.
I mean nothing mechanically, but it adds in the sense that it's a cool idea. It kind of reminds me a little bit of all the way back at Domino's Machines Round 2, where something with like little skis for the tracks and it like grabs them at different increments as it goes down. You can ask Joel, that's his favorite trick that I've ever made. I'm not kidding. I've never topped myself since 2015.
And this one's actually inspired by Pythagoras Suichi, where they had like a cart that slides, and they had like different blocks set up on the cart, and it would go through different.
Oh, is it the one with like the 9x or the 3x3 grid? And it yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it. Yeah, it kind of does. Is that a fork as a lever? Of course it is. Okay.
Just
oh, it's not even a lever. It's just kind of standing there. Okay.
Fork pulls the string. More silverware. More very frustrating silverware herringbones.
Yeah, I mean they just slide. Just because they slide all over the place, right?
Yeah, and every time you breathe, they trigger early.
And they're just too fast to stop.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what triggers the ribbon here?
So and then.
Is it just okay?
The forks hit a fork knife lever that tips a stack of 3 spoons down into the sink.
It falls into the sink. I see. Okay.
Pulls the ribbon, and on the other side you also have like 3 forks or 3 spoons or whatever that come up.
Oh, so I thought the rollers moved. I thought that was the trick. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'll never be able to figure out this part at full speed, so it kind of sucks that they sped up the video so much.
So it's a pulley system rather than like a pulling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was similar to that one trick you made for the kitchen themed machine where it like pulled the roller with the string.
We actually when I saw that the width of the sink was the same width as the roller, we tried to get a roller to slide across the whole opening of the sink, but it's not really possible.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because there's so much weight in the center of the rolling pin that's not being supported. It kind of bends the handles, and the handles are not.
Oh, I didn't even think about it that way. I thought it was just like gonna fall in because it just goes off track too much. But yeah, that makes more sense. So there's just another, I guess three spoons on the other end or something lighter than that.
It was the same weight, I think.
Oh, interesting. So that comes up, tilts the lever, and that just kicks over the block. I see. Okay. And this part I remember being really neat. So it's just hooked into the hole at the end of the red handle. Slides down the cutting board. Again, everything is kitchen themed, right? I mean, aside of I guess the block isn't really, but blocks don't count. And you've got, a bowl here instead of just more wood. I love and just even the background. Like you didn't even bother moving something like this. But, no, I mean, I guess that's
we cleaned up the dish rack to make it look nice.
Well, it sounded like I was saying you didn't even bother to move it, but in reality, I meant like it works as decoration, which is intentional. So the wood, so the wood ball is here. Okay, that's where that goes. That hits. This is neat. I love how it's counterbalanced to just kind of swing around. That's one of those tricks that people are going to lose their minds over, even though it's literally just like a very simple physics trick. But it's really cool to look at. I love it. Okay, so golf tee just kind of... What? Is that against the wall? No?
I actually don't even know because I didn't build this part. I think it just hits.
I mean, it hits the
ball as it
golf
falls.
tee. It hits the golf tee, but the golf tee is in the middle of the tricks track.
Yeah, you just have to the where the golf tee sits in the tricks tracks is the two holes are on this, not in the middle, but they're on the sides.
That's right.
So it's kind of like angled, and so the ball's like really like ready to fall. It just needs a very slight jiggle to the golf tee, and then it's off.
It just seems like an unreliable trigger, but I guess if it worked, that's surprising.
It's actually really hard to get the ball to stay there without just having it fall early.
Yeah, that's not a release mechanism I would have ever used. Wow.
I also did that in like red ball adventure, green ball adventure videos.
Well, that one they tilt like outwards so that it dumps it forward, which makes a lot more sense. Whereas here it's like tilting it backwards, and then
it doesn't matter if you have anything hit the golf tee in any direction, it's gonna wiggle and the ball is like, oh, I'm out of here.
Huh. It's one way to put it, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Again, things that don't have to be themed but are. I like it.
Support.
Well, still, it's a, yeah. This is I like this a lot.
I did this trick in this project I did over a year ago in Canada for an insurance company, and I've checked their website and they've never released the video. I don't know why, but I did this trick for that one, and so it finally gets to be seen.
Is that the same video you did, like the car hood thing where it like did the ball lifts back and forth?
No, that was a different one.
That one also never got released, right?
I'm not sure about that one because it was for local TV, so I don't even think the purpose was to ever put it online. So it was in Florida, so I would have had no way of seeing it myself.
Right.
But
so
some companies you just don't hear from after you're done.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we just got all it has to do is just nudge it very gently.
The other end of the connects rod is in between two dominoes that are taped together so that they'll fall.
So either way, either way it hits it, it will fall over. Yeah, that's really clever. More locks, I like it. All right, so what in the world happens here? Oh.
Just a flicker.
Okay, so it's a big lever that's tilted almost all the way the other way, comes up, hits the pan. What is that rotating on?
You know, I don't even know. Tim built that, and I never even looked underneath the pan, but he did it somehow.
I can't even tell. It's a motion blurry. I can't see what it is. I mean, the only thing I can guess is that it's somehow a Connects device, but that's like a lot of weight. That doesn't even seem possible to me. But it is kind of tilting, and like, it seems like it's holding on for dear life. So maybe, I don't know. Yeah, again, this is definitely Tim because it's the box tilting trick, except done better and correctly this time.
Look at all the logos on those boxes that had to be covered.
Oh my god! And I didn't even notice it at first because you chose the tape that blends in with it. Oh, that's really nice. Generic brand popcorn.
Okay, and this part was crazy hard to film because, as you'll see in the reflection of the microwave, I had to pass the camera over to Tim because there's this 18-foot metal track that the popcorn goes down, and for the finale you had to be on the outside of it, and where I was, there's no way that I could without, like, I would have to duck under it or something, so we had to pass the camera.
Wow, yeah. Because I didn't notice that in the final video. I mean, I never even crossed my mind that you were just basically materializing through the machine.
Yeah. And the final video is pretty shaky, but there's a reason for that. It was crazy hard to film.
Yeah. I thought this was just because you were getting to the end and you're like, oh crap, how do I film this? I've never even gotten this far before, holy crap.
So you can see both me on the right, Tim on the left, in the reflection.
Yeah. Okay, so I haven't been narrating this either, but... Okay, so just a classic zigzag board, vertically, goes through the green, that goes in the cup, releases the yellow one. What is happening with that lever? Oh, that opens the... opens the microwave, gotcha. And goes into the cup.
That's a new one because you, instead of like having the lever, like, so here's the microwave, instead of having the lever like just come out of the way of the microwave, the ball pushed it more towards it, but because that yellow connector had come out from the edge of the track, it then tipped down and then could slide out. So watch the yellow, where the yellow ball comes in contact with, So the rod's actually being pushed towards, well, I guess it kind of fell down, but as it's on the edge of the track, it's, it's going in the same direction as the
pushes
microwave.
it in a little bit first, and then slides down.
Yeah.
Neat. So this one doesn't open automatically like the other one did.
Right.
It has to be pulled open.
Yeah, there's that stretchy string.
Oh, I thought that was just a pulley. Okay, that makes sense. So then you've got, I guess it's just resting against the door. Oh, no, it's pulled from the back.
It's string to the door.
Yeah, and it's pulled from the back of the box.
Yep.
And then, I guess that's just vibrations that cause it to roll.
Nope. You actually missed it. If you go back a little bit, there's when
the
door
there it is.
opens all the way.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a block, and that block pulls a string, and then those metal tracks have some holes in them, so it's attached to a popsicle stick skewer that sticks up through the hole and holds the wheel back, and then it pulls it out, and then the wheels can go.
Yeah, the camera's just shaking like crazy.
Also,
only a real house has totally empty tile floor in the background.
Here, here's a trivia question for you. What do you think happened to me after I passed the camera off?
Are you just racing off into the background here? Are you ducking down behind here?
I just dipped back behind the counter back there.
Yeah. Because, you're panned in pretty close here, so you can easily have time to do that. And there, just...
You don't even see me. I made it without even being captured in a single frame.
That's something
where
you'd
the mug
never
tricks
notice if we didn't talk about it here. That's some next level stuff right there. I like it. Alright, so there's just a really long track here. And then, okay, now what? Alright, so it goes into, is that like a paint bucket or paint roller thing?
Yeah. Paint tray or whatever. And we have an early trigger here. We got multiple takes of the machine, and there was a take they could have used where it didn't get triggered early, but I think they chose this one because the spill was better of the popcorn at the end or something. But yeah, so we have an early trigger, but one we show behind the scenes, we'll show a version where the popcorn bucket comes into the tray, it hits that ball on the trick tracks, the ball comes around and hits a mousetrap, and the mousetrap bar is holding back a bolt which is connected to the tray, and when the bar comes out, then the bolt is released, and then there's a seat belt underneath the couch cushion which wants to pull the tray all the way over to the couch, and so once it's released, that's what it does.
Is it supposed to just make a huge mess?
Yes, because the machine represents the older, more complicated way of watching TV and relaxing. So then their new TV that they promote, or new line of TVs, comes in at the end as the simpler solution.
Right. Okay. So it's just supposed to like fall all over the place and just make a huge mess.
So
Yeah.
after all that work,
after all that work, you're like, okay, so now how do we make this look terrible?
After all that work that Chris did setting this up, he cannot watch his romance movie with popcorn.
Oh no. Rest in popcorn, Tim and Chris. Yeah. Okay, this is really, really, really good. There's a lot here. I'm gonna watch this straight from the beginning again, cause like the beginning now seems so far away to me. Like the briefcase tricks. The briefcase tricks just seem like ages ago.
Yeah, it really does. Hey, Sush. He just wants to be on camera.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a long machine.
Yeah. I mean 3:30. No, it's not 3:30 because there's some ad stuff at the end. But like 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think the fall down's about 3 minutes, which was exactly what the goal was. So.
Wow.
I don't know. We did a good job.
Yeah.
The whole plan was based on the amount of days and builders we had. The whole plan was it was going to be about a third of the length of the lemonade machine, which had a 9-minute fall down.
Yeah. So is this considered the halfway point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a reason you're like really low here?
I'm trying not to get a lot of the TV in the background because the TV is actually off when in reality he's watching a show. Because I'm facing the living room where he's watching TV, but the TV is actually off.
Oh.
So I don't really want to show that.
Right.
I do catch a little bit of it, and the editor could have zoomed in a little bit and to cut that off if they wanted to, but they didn't because I guess it's not a big deal. It's just a tiny glimpse of it. So look at that exciting show that Chris is over there watching.
That's my favorite romance.
And I'm sure this whole thing was pretty crazy for him because he has to stay where he is looking at a blank TV screen. Meanwhile, he can hear all the stuff happening in the machine and he has to just hope that it works.
I mean, he can look now if he wants for like a few seconds.
It was fun incorporating a person into the machine. I think I might do that more often too.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a Joseph's Machines kind of vibe in some ways.
So essentially we had like 4 different sections. The first one was office, the second one was like sports and toys, and the last 2 sections were kitchen themed. And they each had their own mini objectives.
Oh, okay, so the first would be it pulls the thing that says relax. Mm-hmm. The second one is spins the wheel. And then the next one...
Turn off the light.
Oh, turn off the light, right. And then the last one is deliver popcorn, but fail on purpose.
And now watch the ad part of the machine and you'll see how those objectives connect to the TV.
Oh, yeah.
To their AI TV. So, the first one was like making a to-do list. So he just asked like, what's on my schedule or something, and it's like, just relax.
Have you just today? On my to-do list is
what's that?
Just. My to-do list says just. Who puts just relax on their to-do list? Like what?
Someone who just finished taking out the trash.
Or someone who just finished making an entire machine.
We should do a prequel with TCL where we do those 3 things that were on the whiteboard at the beginning as the machine.
Lemonade Machine Part 2 actually is a good objective is take out the trash.
Okay, and here's where he says, Tim, can you please turn off the lights? And Tim's sitting behind the TV and Tim hits the switch.
That's showbiz, baby. Everything's fake.
Uh-huh. And then he wants to watch a romance movie. I guess they were in a different order, but
That's really
still
cool.
works out.
Have your. So what's their plan for this? Just social media?
There was one mention of possibly showing it on the TV screens, like when you go to like a store like Best Buy or something.
Oh my god.
As
So
like
wait,
their
hold on.
display.
What is TCL? Is that a channel?
No, it's a TV brand.
Oh, it's a TV brand.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that'll be interesting. If I get to see this at work, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I hope it's good enough for them to use it like that. It was filmed in 4K for that purpose, so that it can be shown on TVs. And they're also gonna be using quite a bit of the footage at CES, the big electronics trade show in January.
Oh wow, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
But
Wow.
for the most part, I think it's for social media being used as an online ad.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
hey,
so-
shout out to TCL. It's really nice that they included my logo as well in there.
Yeah.
They weren't
That's what I was
they
saying.
weren't just
This is
like
cool.
they weren't just like ambiguous like a lot of companies are, that they just hire people to build the stuff and then they're just showing off their commercial. They're like really made a partnership with Spice Machines, and that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, they seemed really supportive. I mean, just letting you do it all to begin with. I mean, that's a huge. I mean, imagine that's a lot of time and money to put into it. But also, just they were like, yeah, let's do it in one take. Sure, if you want to do it that way, fine.
Mm-hmm.
That that's really good. I'm on TCL's side for life.
Definitely.
I'm a TCL customer.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite brands that I've worked with, and one of the biggest projects I've done, and it was a big success. It was pretty stressful during filming day, but we finally got it.
Yeah, it's totally worth it. 100%.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I think that's basically it. Thanks for watching
Yeah.
this episode of Making Connections, and thank you to Spice Machines for joining me today. Just as always, if you'd like to watch the full episode, you can find it in your subscriptions feed or on my channel page for the next day or so. After that, the only way to find it is through the Making Connections playlist. The link for that is in the description. Also, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode of Making Connections.